I don't think we've ever done one of these in the summer. This is gonna be crap, so we don't die. Hey everybody, welcome back to Movies on the Move. We just saw 8th Grade, which is a coming-of-age movie. one of my favorite type of genres.
You like coming-of-age movies?
I kind of like them. And this one follows the story of a girl named Kayla during the end of her 8th grade year. And she's having a really hard time really just fitting in. She doesn't have any friends. And this movie takes a really unique approach to that.
I thought it took actually a pitch-perfect approach. I really liked the structure of her talking to the camera, like I'm talking to you right now, and kind of setting up the different aspects of her life that were difficult for her. And I feel like this is a movie truly for people in middle school or high school who were introverts and felt awkward. And I really think that this is probably the movie that best exemplifies that. Like, I know people like Perks of a Wallflower, but this is, I feel like, the most realistic movie to feel if you were an introvert in high school, if you were awkward in high school, if you've ever been in situations where you didn't know what to say or what to do. It really did a great job of making you feel like you were there and remembering moments in your own life when you felt so awkward that you didn't know what to do. So, it got too real for you, Rebecca?
It got incredibly real and incredibly relatable. And even though this movie takes place in a different generation, it's been a while since I've been in high school and even longer since I've been in the middle school years, it brought in the new things, the new technology in a way that I feel like it's still relatable to even older people. It still touched upon the soul of somebody, like you said, who's an introvert and somebody who doesn't know what to say or when to say it and just wants to try really hard. I'm getting choked up.
And there's so many little things that if you were an introvert that you know, like things that other people have said to her that you know would drive you nuts. Like when people said to her, like, are you bored? Or why are you so quiet? Like, these are things that introverts have heard at parties or hanging out with people that
Several
you know
times.
That just drives you crazy. So when you hear it and you see it on the screen, you're like, oh shit. You know, you would expect a lot of like the theme nowadays is like bullying, and there was a little bit of that. There was one character that was like, I guess you would call her a bully. She was really just whatever, but
disrespectful, careless, full of herself.
I
could go on and on and
there
on.
There was like one of those, and just as a group, a lot of them were like that. But there were also, you know, characters, especially her dad, who you would think a lot of times in these movies, these high school movies, the parents don't always do the right thing. And I'm not saying he was perfect. There was one thing that he did that was really embarrassing. But for the most part, he was, you know, a great dad, very loving. He took all the stuff that a middle school could throw at you, and he took it, he took it, you know, lightly. And I thought that was really sweet to see a child who's going through a rough time in middle school or high school, and to have a parent who's really there to support them and understand everything they're going through. So that was one of, like, I think the sweeter moments of the movie, to see that connection between the dad and her.
I definitely agree. I think my favorite aspect of the movie, besides it being so relatable and so incredibly real, was that it takes a first-person perspective to a level where you really feel like you are her. And there's one scene in particular where I just really wanted it to end. It just felt so long. And I mean, I'm not saying that to judge the movie. I'm saying that it was such an uncomfortable situation that I was in the mind of the character thinking, like, I just want this scene to be over. I just want this moment to be over. That's how I knew that this movie was so good with that first-person perspective.
Yeah, and even in that first-person perspective, there were moments where, like we said to each other during the movie, where, like, she'd be at a party, and we're like, wow, she lasted a lot longer than I would have in that situation. Going to a party where you don't really know anyone and you don't feel welcome.
Oh yeah, there's one. I'm not giving anything away, but there's something that she attends that I never would have freaking attended. I would have been like, nope, No way in hell.
So in a lot of ways, even though she is an introvert and quiet and to herself, she feels like she's not good enough, that she's not worthy enough, and that she's not brave enough or has confidence. In a lot of ways, she really does have more confidence and more bravery than I think a lot of people would in her situation. And I think her dad touches upon that too, about that being herself. So we tried to make it quick. It didn't work. So what was your favorite part of the movie?
Well, I already said my favorite aspect of the movie was that it took a first-person view of everything. Like, you are this character, you are her, and you're experiencing everything. And I would be curious to know, if you're an extroverted person, do you also feel like you could relate to this character? We'd love to know that down in the comments, because as an introvert, yeah, it's just so freaking relatable.
Yeah, I would say overall, I love the movie. I thought overall I didn't really have any complaints, really. I don't really have any complaints.
Not at all.
I would say, my favorite, I'm not going to pick a particular moment, but just like the scenes where she's talking either to a guy she has a crush on or a girl that she's trying to be friends with, and just like the reality of the awkwardness of these conversations. Like, a lot of times scripts are very like, oh, we have to make it movie-esque, like we have to make it this and that, but this felt just very realistic. So I think the dialogue, even though the dialogue doesn't seem like anything special because it just seems like conversations you would have any day, I felt that was really impressive, the way that they pulled that off. So
this also may be the first movie I've seen that incorporated how big technology is in young people's lives. I know everybody says, kids can't put their phone down and everything. Like, this is the first time I've really seen it to the most realistic degree in a movie, where every kid is on their phone. Not every kid, like, you'll see like one or two that's not, but it's just so emphasized and so real. But then it's also a fun movie at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you didn't see the whole movie and you just see the girl like eating dinner on her phone, not paying attention to anything, then you'll say, oh man, she's annoying. But understanding that you were that age at that time and these kids were even younger and introduced to cell phones and social media and everything like that, I think it is understandable, and it really shows not only the effect that all this technology is having on kids, just seeing them on the phones, but I think also that plays a role in how people like her may have become introverted. Not that there weren't introverts years before, but
it doesn't make it easier, it actually makes it harder.
Yeah. So overall score, we already know.
5 out of 5.
I think Rebecca knew this was going to be a 5 out of 5 for her going in. I wasn't as sure, because I wasn't sure about the director, Bo Burnham, because I've seen some of his stand-up, and I know it's not obviously a stand-up comedy movie, but I wasn't sure. But anyway, I was really impressed. I loved it. I thought it was, I don't know what you consider the movie year, but by far it was the best movie I've seen in a very long time. By far, like, since the last Oscars.
Probably.
Definitely on par with Lady Bird if you want to compare those two. I know Lady Bird was a little bit older, but if you're comparing those two, because I think that was like the last movie would have young female protagonists going through high school or middle school, I think it's definitely on par with that. I actually think it was more realistic than Lady Bird, so I might even like it even more. And I thought the actress was really good.
Yeah, she's great. I hope she's an up-and-comer, because she's really good.
Yeah, and I thought the dad was sweet. And
Dad was bae.
Yeah.
And so was another character.
Yeah.
Which I won't
Well,
give
just because
away.
of the last
Which I won't
scene.
give away.
Alright, well, we hope you enjoyed this latest edition of Movies on the Move.
And let us know what you thought of
we
8th
hope
grade.
you we forgot to say something. We hope you like this video and subscribe and Gucci.